All right, we are back in open session at 5:28 p.m. We are now going to close again and go to closed session pursuant to item number 3A, pursuant to the Texas Government Code 551.071, attorney consultation for the purpose of, actually, we don't need to read that. We're not consulting with attorneys, so I'm going to skip that, guys. 3B, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.072, real property, to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease of real property in an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the board's position in negotiations with a third person. 3C, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, personnel, to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, including superintendent or board member, or to hear a complaint or charge against an officer or employee. 3D, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.076, security devices or security audits, to deliberate the deployment or specific occasion or implementation of security personnel or device or security audit. We are going to recess at 5:30 p.m. Okay. Okay, we are back in open session at 6:16 PM on April 20th, 2026 for our regular meeting. We are on item number 4, and I've already actually done that. So let's go to number 5 with the invocation. If Dr. Joyner, if you would lead us in that, please. Stand
Please stand with me, please.
It's all right, it's a good sound. I like that sound.
Let's pray. Father, tonight we are thankful for clanking in the audience and for what that means for our students and their families. We're grateful for the competition that they have excelled at, each and every one of them, not just on the field, not just on the basketball court, but in the classroom as well. We're very grateful for the families and the parents that are here tonight, the recognitions that we're going to be able to give to some great people. We pray that you would bless every decision that we make tonight and that you would bring everyone home safely. We pray all these things in your name. Amen.
All right, if you will remain standing, we've got some very special visitors who I personally know. We've got Rosie Caraway and Lucy Caraway from Young Elementary. Their parents are Emma and Kayson. And then we've also got Camden Knight, who's a 5th grader at Young, and her parents are Bridget and David Knight. So if you guys, that is the cutest ones we've had. So whenever y'all want to start, we'll all join in. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you ladies would just stay there, we're going to come around and get a picture of y'all.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and transition to our student recognitions as well. As always, I get the pleasure of doing this, and it definitely sounds like jingle bells in here, so it's a wonderful sound, and we're just so happy to have so many students to celebrate. Let's start with powerlifting, and I want to do it a little bit differently this year. I just want to get them to stand up so we can just applaud them really quick, and then I'll say their names. And our wonderful Assistant Superintendent of Human Capital, Mr. Lackey, is going to join me. We have a phenomenal group of students to recognize who once again had a wonderful season, again advancing to state competition. So we're just incredibly proud of them. But can we start with, and a few of them couldn't make it today, but most of them are here. And so we're going to start with Addison Campbell, Caden Merritt, Joseph Finley, Israel Rueda, Drake Taylor, Garrison Fay, Trenton Dickey, Alex Martinez, Julian Ardiano, Lucas Brick, Jarek McMaster, Aiden Colwell, Leona Poynton, Faith Knight, Carrie Hom. Ooh, they're stuck together. Abigail Reeves, Samantha Gom, Lestiny Rodriguez and Zestiny Rodriguez. And I think that's everybody. And Coach Zimmer, come on down here as well. Okay, we're gonna get y'all to bunch up and do one big photo. More bunched. All right, we are shifting gears. Needed to let that pass. Once again, I'm happy to recognize our Lady Eagles basketball team. I think we all know how they did at state this year. It was a phenomenal game, and we're just incredibly proud of these ladies as always. And so I'm just happy to recognize them. We're going to get them to stand as well and also do a round of applause. And we'll start with Molly Chandler, Gentry Stupka, Madison Studer, Maddox Kaufman, Janie Holmes, Jaden Oates, Lakin Kaufman, Cece Davis, Hannah Hunter, Style Brazil, Cambry Dung, Kaylee Yeats, Kylie, I'm sorry. Got her twice, that's weird. Ainsley McCoy, Crimson Dykes, Sailor Peck, Skylar Sicking, Evie Mercer, Braylon Peck, Jalen Arredondo, and I know I saw Coach Maxwell. There we go. All right, we just want to give them one final round of applause for just a wonderful season. Some of them are tall, so we'll let y'all figure it out. All right, we are going to transition to Teacher of the Year, and I've got Dr. Cynthia Weber up here, our Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning. She's going to help me pass out the certificates, and we're actually going to go in reverse order. You'll know why later when I get to the end. But can we start at the high school? Oh, and I do need to explain, we did something a little bit different this year. And so every year we've always had one elementary from every campus, one high school, and one middle school. And there's nothing wrong with that. But last year's committee, in looking at, and I know Mara's in the office, he sat on that committee. Eileen Cross sat on that committee as well. We were really looking at just what was happening in that committee. And there's so many more staff at the high school and middle school levels. We really just felt it was appropriate to expand that. And so we actually have 2 nominees at the high school and 2 at the middle school. So we're going to start with Brittany Wheeler at the high school and Reagan Bayless. Next we have at the middle school Leanna Mosley and Dee Dee Dysinko. At Young Elementary, we have Tracy Finstad, Courtney Gay at Enos Elementary, no. Sarah Wetzel at Rand Elementary. I think so. And Caitlin is about to get on me because I think I'm going to mess up her name. But Caitlin, I'm going to guess, not Crowell. Kroll, darn it. There's 3 versions and I'm always wrong. Fortunately for me, she answers to them all. She gives a lot of grace like all of our teachers. And I really just want to brag on you all. Teacher of the Year is such a distinction and such an honor, and we really are blessed to have you in our classrooms. And we get a peek of what y'all do, and there's really not enough words just to say thank you. The little things you do, the big things you do, the late nights you stay, the early mornings you come, the weekends you come, the time you sacrifice, and we're grateful to you. We're thankful for you. You all have generational impact, and so thank you. Now let's take a photo. Okay, last but not least, and Dr. Weber's going to stay up here with me, we are celebrating a little bit belated, but that's just because the meeting fell late, Assistant Principals Week. That was April 6th through 10th, and so it has already passed. But we know the campuses did some wonderful celebrations for those, for our APs, but we wanted to celebrate them as well. And what I did this year is I actually asked the principals to just give a few words, and so I'm actually going to go through a little bit and brag on them based on their principals' words. Blah. So we will start with Stacy O'Brien at Carson. Craig said that she leads our staff with love. She is forever a teacher of children about building perspective, patience, and reflection, and she is a great representative of Carson Elementary, and she's just a wonderful DISD educator as well. So thank you, Stacy. Oops. Up next, we've got Julio Hernandez at I think you all remember he came to us a little bit late in the school year, and I think he was an answered prayer for a lot of them. But Annalisa had to say about him. Mr. Hernandez has been an invaluable addition to the Rand Elementary family. His diverse experiences, strong relationship building skills, and sense of humor always allow him to connect with and support students, families, and staff in meaningful ways. He truly makes Rand a better place. Up next, we have the wonderful Jamie Petty at STEMA. Mrs. Ledger had this to say: Jamie leads with kindness and builds strong relationships both with students and staff. Her supportive presence creates a positive environment where everyone feels valued. Thank you, Jamie. And last but not least, for our elementaries, we're going to start with Courtney Roseberry at Young. And Mr. Homan had this to say: Mrs. Roseberry does such an amazing job keeping our campus organized and running smoothly. She truly keeps us all on track. She greets every student by name each morning, making each one feel seen, valued, and ready for the day. Pause for applause. Up next, we're going to go with McCarroll. Stephanie Brooks was not able to join us today, but Brandy Schizler, Ms. Schizler, said this about her. You've made, and she's actually speaking to her in this, she said, "You've made great strides in your first year, and your calm presence has made a positive impact on our campus. Thank you for all you do each day." And then for Vanessa Salazar, Ms. Schizler had this to say: You handle challenging situations with confidence, and your attention to detail truly sets you apart. Your leadership during STAR testing has been exceptional, and our campus is better because of your steady, thoughtful approach. Thank you for all you do. And last but not least, I think they all made it here today from the high school. We're going to start with Mr. Hutchings. This is what Tammy Allen, Mrs. Allen, had to say. Mr. Hutchings plays a critical role in keeping our campus safe, organized, and prepared. His attention to detail and proactive approach ensure that systems are in place for both daily operations and emergency readiness. He ensures Decatur High School is a safer campus for everyone. Mr. Nauman, this is what Mrs. Allen had to say. Mr. Nauman is a steady leader who works to support both students and staff. He plays a key role in strengthening our CTE programs and pathways, helping ensure students have meaningful opportunities to explore career readiness. His ability to build relationships and maintain a positive campus culture makes a lasting impact each day. And Mr. Bracamontes, last but not least. She said, Mr. Bracamontes brings energy, organization, and a strong student-centered mindset to everything he does. He is intentional in ensuring academic interventions are in place and effective, helping students stay on track and reach their full potential. His leadership helps create a structured and supportive environment where students can thrive. And then I just want to add some words. You know, I saw a lot of common threads as I was reading these, and I've seen it in the halls. Similar to our Teachers of the Year, I could almost copy and paste those words, but I won't. But you all are true leaders, and y'all serve on the front lines. Y'all serve a lot of times behind the scenes. Y'all do the work that needs to be done, and campuses don't function without APs. And so we're incredibly grateful. Y'all do it with grace and with love, and your hearts are in the right place. So we appreciate you all for all you do.
All right, what a great group. I mean, that was so much fun because it was our students, it was our principals, it was everybody coming together. So this is a great district, and we got a lot of great things happening in it. All right, next we are going to item number A, which is public forum. We did not have anybody signed up, so we're going to move on to item number 9, the superintendent report, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Williams.
All right, we've got 2 pages. That's a good problem to have when it comes to success across the district. So under Pillar 1, our high-performing students, we had our varsity boys track team. They're headed to regionals after winning the area meet. So congratulations to them. Our Eagle Dolls also had a successful weekend in San Antonio for the Showtime International Competition at SeaWorld. DHS Choir earned sweepstakes with straight ones. And then our MMS Choir also brought home 3 sweepstakes awards. Our culinary students, if you were out in the foyer earlier, they prepared all of the wonderful treats that you might have enjoyed along your way in. And then we also have an amazing art show set up out there. So I hope everyone takes the time to admire their hard work, as well as the art teachers who have literally put in months to prepare for this. Decatur FFA, they had a successful plant sale this weekend and another one scheduled for May 2nd. So mark your calendars for their final sale of the year. They also competed really well at the Red River District competition, and there's a whole slew of success in advancing students there. Softball is also in the playoffs. They'll play in the bi-district game on Thursday. Moving to Pillar 2, highly engaged staff. Shout out to our art teachers who collected the work, and as well as our APs, which we've honored this evening as well. And then community partnerships, we will have a homeschool UIL information night coming up on April 28th at 5 p.m. here at Central Admin. If anyone wants to learn about the UIL offerings in fine arts, athletics, and academics. Tomorrow night, we have the Facts and Fun night with information about the May 2026 bond in both English and Spanish. We want to thank Decatur leadership and all of those involved for volunteering on several DISD campuses and working with special projects. We're thankful for their service and their partnership. This Saturday from 6 to 9, there's a garden gala, which is hosted by our hostess students for community members 55 plus. So get your tickets for a night of music, dancing, and fun. And then Pillar 4, strategic resource management. It's been another really good week of attendance, over 95% across the district, which is a huge win, especially in the spring. And then budgets across the board are looking good, both at the campus and district level. And so we're really thankful to all of those who have been strategic and intentional about their decisions financially. That's all I have.
Well, you got through that pretty quick. Okay. Moving on to item number 10 on the agenda. This is the consent agenda. We've got a package of things in there. One is to renew the audit agreement with Snow Garrett as our CPAs. Another is the annual renewal of education for the Service Center Region 11, our cooperative for benefits. The extension of our Medicaid consultation and billing agreement, the minutes from the from the March meeting. And then we had a couple of budget amendments, purchases greater than $25,000, of which there were none for this month. And then the memorandum of understanding for the 3-year safety audit with ESC 11. So I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
One question, can we discuss?
Absolutely. We'll make a motion, then we'll just, definitely discuss. Yeah, so we'll make a motion and then a second, and then we'll open it up for discussion before we vote.
No, I don't want it out of consent, I just want to.
Yeah, discuss it, sure. Yeah, no, we will. We'll definitely discuss it. But,
I recommend the board approve the consent agenda.
okay, I have a motion from Mr. Bayless. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Duncan. Okay, let's open it up for discussion.
Gary, is this your recommendation for Snow Garrett and Williams? We've been using them for quite some time. I'm just asking what your thought process is there.
Absolutely. They've done a great job. They are presenting, last year, one of their partners presented at the Texas Society of CPAs conference, annual school accounting, and she actually got hired by the Governmental Accounting Association. The partner they moved up is now presenting at the Texas Society of CPAs conference. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they were very hard, but if I wanted to get a private company there, the guys ought to be, ladies and gentlemen.
questions or discussions before we vote? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 7-0 on the consent agenda. We'll now move on to item number 11, the action items. The first one is 11A, consider and take possible action regarding the book purchases for DISD libraries. We like those presentations. No. Take as much time as you need. The red button.
Here we go. Good evening. Laura Highlander, I'm the district librarian for Decatur ISD. My longer title is Coordinator of Library Media Services, if you fit that on a business card. And so the book list you have before you, it's a new procedure governed by the legislature where it has to be posted for 30 days for public comment, and it has, and we have not received any comments. And then it goes before the board for approval. But before it hits the website, this is the process we go through, and this is in addition to meeting the collection development standards in board policy. And so I'll welcome any questions you have. Let me say, it's exceptionally long this time because a lot of the lists that we refer to, like for Bluebonnet, 2x2, Tayshaws, and Lone Star, they come out in December and January. And then also I had a meeting with one of our book vendors that we always go over books for the nonfiction sections for all of our campuses. And so that's why there's a lot of titles.
Any questions? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion.
I recommend the board approve the list of recommended books for purchase for DISD libraries.
I have a motion from Ms. Schneider. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay, second from Ms. Alvarez. And any further discussion before we vote? Any other questions? If not, then we will vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. 11B, consider and take possible action regarding the certification and provision of instructional materials for the 2026-2027 school year. Your turn.
My turn.
Floors are yours.
And I don't have a slide, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, good evening. So, as you know, I am the Director of Elementary Academics and Bilingual ESL, but I also serve as the district's instructional materials coordinator. So in this role, I oversee the ordering and tracking of all instructional materials and purchases through EMAT. And what EMAT is the state's online ordering system. And I also manage our instructional materials and technology allotment, SBOE approved instructional materials entitlement, and the state developed open education resource entitlement funds. So each year, local school systems are required to certify to the State Board of Education and the Commissioner that all students have access to instructional materials that fully cover the TEKS in all required areas, subject areas. So the certification pre-work form, which is the 33-page document that you will see like attached to the agenda, and I'm assuming probably in your board book, that mirrors the online certification survey that I complete after we go through, or after I do the pre-work form. So when completing this form, I gather all the information needed. I collaborate with content leaders, so that would be like special education department, Mrs. Boatwright for CTE, and secondary academics. I talk to Amy Wood whenever it comes to math, science, Tara Bennett whenever we tech apps and things like that. And then after it's approved by the board, I complete the online certification survey, and I take the signed documentation, and that's whenever I submit everything to TEA. TEA recommends that districts complete this process by May 1st, 2026, and the completion of this certification process is required in order to have access to our instructional material funds within EMAT. And so we just wanted to kind of give you guys an overview and an explanation of why we come up and give you this information every single year. We pretty much do it every year. I mean, we do it every year,
Right.
yes. But pretty much every year in April, come to you with this information and don't always kind of give a full rundown of exactly what it is. So kind of wanted to give you a little bit more information on it. So, any questions? Good.
All right, well, if there are no, I'd entertain a motion, please.
I recommend the board certify the certification of provision of instructional materials survey 2026-2027.
I have a motion from Ms. Schneider. Do I have a second? Second from Dr. Joyner. Any discussion? Questions? You must have done a good job explaining it then. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you so much.
Sounds good.
Thanks,
Thank
Jenny.
you.
All right. All right, and moving on to 11C, consider to take possible action regarding the appointment of insurance agent of record for Decatur ISD medical insurance. I think that's, here he comes. Mr. Mazinski.
Yours is. Oh Lord, I've lost you. Let's go back here. Back up to yours. Here. Apologize. That's what I thought I had. There we go. It's loading up. There we go.
Thank you. I'll go through a short history of the medical insurance with Decatur ISD and why we're doing what we're doing. In about 2003, before 2003, districts across the state just bid it. Everybody got their own medical insurance. It was very different back then. I mean, you could have an insurance with $5,000 deductible. I mean, it was a circus. In 2002, not 2023, but 2002 and 2003, the legislature set the Texas teacher retirement system up with having medical insurance, that districts would get medical insurance through employees. The gist of it was they'd make a huge pool and they'd get good rates. You were required to get in it at that time. In 2021, the legislature allowed schools to leave. However, if they said you leave, you have to leave for 5 years. In 2023, 2024, Decatur ISD left and joined a self-funded group. And what happened in 23, 24, the usage was much more than they anticipated. So the district decided not to charge the employees. The district then started ponying up, I believe it was $150 a month per employee. The gist of the thing, the gist of it was even last year, which we were into the Blue Cross program, we were still paying for the other program up until about March to make up for those losses. This is one of the dangers of being in you can save money in a self-funded program, but it's one of the dangers of being, it's a two-way street. For 24, 25, 25, 26, apparently the group that we are in said, the interlocal, that you didn't have to bid it, but they had an agent that would bid it for you, and we went with Blue Cross Blue Shield, including this year. This is the second year of that contract. So I want to make sure we have 2 more years, and we may go back with TRS or another, it doesn't matter. We have 2 more years, we now need to get medical insurance for our employees. In 2028, 29, you may be able to rejoin it. So we elected to do a request for qualifications. You cannot, as a district, go directly to Blue Cross and say, let me, join. So this is a two-pronged program. One, we determine who our agent is going to be, and two, we eventually would write a proposal. Then we would come back to you and say, okay, this is what our agent has brought to us. This is just getting somebody to help us get started. And that's exactly what I said just right there. This helps us get started. We have had some high usage in this district, and that does not help for rates when you go out and get rates when you're outside of a pool. However, what we can do is explain to our employees, unless something were a miracle were to come out with some pretty good rates, we can do is say we shopped it with all the major, Aetna, United, Blue Cross, that we did, we did our due diligence and put it out there, and this is what came in. Again, TRS, whether we get back into that would be in the future. Seeking proposal for medical insurance is not like property insurance. For example, in medical insurance, if you don't have the correct amount, for example, you cannot, I'm being facetious, but you can't buy insurance like with a $50,000 deductible. That's not acceptable because the American Care Act, the Affordable Care Act, whatever the ACA is, they require, like for example, your food service employees, that you provide a certain limit for them. Because if you don't, they go out to the market, and then the government finds out that that's how they would find out, because the employees say, I can get it cheaper, at the market, and then the government will come back and say your plan is not compliant. So my point is, we need to make sure we understand what we're doing. What I just said, it follows a very different threshold. About 20% of the schools are not in TRS. It's all over the board. There is no rhyme or reason. You can see some of the schools in Wise County. You can see some of the schools across the state. Fort Worth is, Dallas is, Houston isn't. So it's a potpourri of what's going on out there. And I don't know the situation with those other schools, but right now I know the situation that we need to take care of ourselves and our employees. So we put in our RFQ for someone to help us. We designed the RFQ by finding out what we wanted. In the way the Texas government code is set up, doing requests for qualifications, you don't really search for price. This is what you do for getting some attorneys, architects, accountants. You're looking for the quality to start with. Okay, price does come in. I'll get to that in a second. But you can ask about price, but you really shouldn't be. That should not be a determinant. We based on quality. I shouldn't be getting one ahead of myself here. You select the highest rated vendor. Once you get your vendors, you select the highest rated vendor. You begin negotiations with them, and if you're successful, you then complete an agreement. This would be the same thing like if you said, I'd like to get an architect. This is the same process you're going to use. You're going to put a request for qualifications out there. The people are going to send back, and then they would. Same thing. I think Cindy did this for attorneys a couple of years ago. If an agreement is satisfactory to both parties, you reach and then you move on. Now, if it's not, if the agreement is not, then you go to the second person and the third person and on and on. We had 3 people. The Baldwin Group from Rockwell, Texas, Higginbotham from Richardson, McGriff from Addison applied to be our agent. All 3 are superior companies. It's like a 15 or so page, pretty detailed to make sure that, and one was, I think, a publicly traded company. They all have experience in organizing their benefits, and there's 2 kind of parts of benefits for employees. You got the medical, but then you've also, that we help pay for, we pay $407 a month. Then you've got this other part of employee benefits, your dental, vision, longevity, that kind of stuff that they pay for extra life insurance if they want. That's called the third-party insurance. And these firms, from what I can tell, do both of these. All three appear to be involved in the public acquisition of medical benefits. Now, where did we go? We had the HR person who, there's our HR guy, he's joined our table. He's on probation for, till we trust him. Then he'll get a little blue name tag then. And then they're evaluated by the young lady who does our benefits. Fantastic young lady. Some person calls up and says, I'm going to have a child. What do I do? She walks them through the process, you know, the different benefits bill and stuff, and myself. We came up with Higginbotham appeared to have the more long-term experience with medical insurance. We gave additional consideration based on their experience. They're the current third-party administrator for our supplemental benefits, and they are the current administrator for our medical program. All these vendors were excellent, but the key of it is that, especially that our benefits coordinator sit home is look, I have this is something I know. While the other people are on paper are excellent, their references are excellent, I don't have to take a chance because I don't have any issue with them. And we did allow points for historical usage. We could have taken points away if they were bad, but we did have points for both school experience and Decatur ISD experience. So they have done an excellent job working with us. Haven't had any issues. They are not the one that did necessarily design the prior medical plan. In fact, they really got us out of it with getting us Blue Cross Blue Shield. We really felt that of Higginbotham, their benefits were, again, both of them do medical benefits, and this third-party administrator, we really felt that Higginbotham designed their request for qualifications responses directed towards getting us medical insurance. McGriff was ranked second, and the Baldwin was a great third. Before I make I do have a recommendation here for you, but before I do that, do we have any questions over the process? Because this is just the start. This will come back to you for a recommendation at another meeting, hopefully June. I'm not sure, though. Any questions? Okay, so, yes, sir.
Will this be a multi-year? Or will
We
this be-
can make it a multi-year. I'll probably have it a multi-year with the right to cancel is probably what I'll do.
Would it make sense if that's a 2-year then, probably? Okay.
So we complete an agreement with the vendor and work with that vendor to write, that's our recommendation, that we work with them to write a proposal. And the recommendation is that, and we just did this afternoon, I did put it is in your board package, but it wasn't in your Friday board package. We just had our meeting, you know, this has been an ongoing process. We move that the board delegate to the superintendent to negotiate an agreement for medical insurance agents of record with Higginbotham. If no agreement can be reached with McGriff, if no can be reached with them, with the Baldwin Group, but I believe that would be fine with any one of those. So that is the recommendation.
Quick question, if you know it, fine. If you don't, I'm just curious, how many, did they ever come up, how many school districts in Texas Higginbotham, I mean, I know Higginbotham, it's a great company, big company, they're all over Texas. How many school districts they might be working with? Do you remember if that came up?
I'm thinking 500 or 600, do you mean? So
Okay.
he's smarter than I am, 600.
No, I don't know about that.
So, yeah.
He might
That was in one of their responses.
be a close contest.
Yeah, that's
So,
a lot of
Yeah, okay,
experience.
I thought they had a lot of experience with schools, I just,
And you, all right, get him a blue. We've been very pleased with them, but no disrespect whatsoever for the other two. They would have been just, we could have ran with them too.
yeah, okay, all right. Any other questions for Gary? No. If not, I will entertain a motion at this time.
Mr. President, I move that the board delegate to the superintendent to negotiate an agreement for medical insurance agent of record with Higginbotham, and if no agreement can be reached with McGriff, and if then no agreement can be reached with the Baldwin Group.
I have a motion from Chief Campbell. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Dr. Joyner. Any further discussion or questions, anyone? All right, if not, All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Gary. All right, 11D, consider and take possible action regarding non-Chapter 21 contract employment agreements. And I will open that up for a motion.
I recommend the approval of the professional staff as presented and authorize the superintendent to issue the appropriate contract employment agreement to the employees listed.
Have a motion from Mr. Bayless. Do I have a second?
A second.
Have a second from Ms. Schneider. Any discussion or questions? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 7-0. 11E, consider to take possible action regarding Chapter 21 principal and other administrative contracts. I am entertaining a motion on that one.
I recommend approval of the professional staff as presented and authorize the superintendent to issue the appropriate contract to the employees listed.
Have a motion for Ms. Schneider. Do I have a second? Have a second from Mr. Bayless. Any discussion, questions about the list? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 7-0. 11F, consider to take possible action regarding the employment of professional personnel for the 2026-2027 school year. Entertaining a motion on that.
Mr. President, I recommend approval of the professional staff as presented and authorize the superintendent to issue the appropriate contract to the employees listed.
Have a motion from Dr. Joyner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Chief Campbell. Any discussion or questions? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 7-0. All right. Now moving on to item 12, information. First one up, 12A, Career Technology and Engineering, our CTE update.
Let's get you taken care of here. Close that out. Which one are you? I saw you. You're up here. Where'd you go? It was a PDF. Cheat. This one? This one? No, that's just an image. It's okay. We'll get it. We'll just find you. I know I had it. They're disappearing on me. Yes, ma'am. I had it for you. All right. Let's go here. And we'll just go. Do. Present. Perfect. Thank you.
There you go. Floor's all yours, Ms. Boatright.
Okay, good evening. I just wanted to take a few minutes and give you an update on where we are with our career and technical education program. Just an overview, just a reminder, our programming right now, the state has set up 11, they've set up more career clusters. We have 11 career clusters recognized in our district. We have 16 different programs of study that a student can sign up for. And in reality, the state law says that we have to have, with a district our size, a high school our size, we have to offer 3 programs of study, and we have 16. So I think that's a blessing for our students and our community. Each program of study has a minimum of 4 courses, except our cosmetology, which they do not attend a specific class. Freshman and sophomore year, they just go to the cosmetology class their junior and senior year. Here's just an overview. The next 3 slides are our overview of our different programs that we offer. We have animal science, plant science, Ag Mech is what you'll hear it referred to as, our agricultural technology and mechanical systems. We have graphic design and interactive media and digital communications, teaching and training. We have exercise science, wellness, and restoration that goes into our trainers program. Diagnostic and therapeutic services, which is we refer to basically as our health science. business management, we have culinary arts, of course, which we've all benefited from, automotive and collision repair. We offer family and community services through our SOAR program. We do offer programming and software development, law enforcement, and engineering foundations. And so last year, about this time, after Ms. Williams came in, she asked for our state CTE organization, CTAT, to do an audit review. And so they came in and we had a multi-page document that they presented to you last year about this time. It was probably in April, and or it could have been in May. And so they made some recommendations. So I just wanted to highlight some of those just to refresh your memory what they recommended that we do this year. Or start doing, streamline our program operations, ensure alignment with A through F accountability and any industry standards in the community, expand our student organizations. CTSO is Career and Technical Student Organizations. Expand those opportunities, expand, repair, and modernize our facilities. For example, they specifically mentioned our AV does not have, our audiovisual does not have a set up green room, recording room, and so they recommended that. Culinary, of course, has does not have a commercial kitchen. They have a residential kitchen from when we initially built the building. Health science has a very small room that they operate out of, and our auto shop is also, they recommended modernizing some of those facilities. So they also recommended providing a robust practicum, career prep opportunities where students go out into the community or work with businesses during their senior year, junior or senior year. And then include any student organization and certification information on any parent, student contacts, handbooks, anything like that. That's a place where we have not traditionally advertised much about those and emphasized those. Enhance dual credit CTE opportunities. Some of our community colleges and even Charlton that we partner with offer dual credit classes that fall into our pathways, and so they recommended enhancing some of those. Expand and strengthen our industry-based certification opportunities. So look at adding more certificates for our students to earn. So this year, we actually added a law enforcement certification. Our new law enforcement teacher was certified in December to teach a telecommunicators class. And so our Law Enforcement 2 class took the telecommunicators, the initial level telecommunicators certification test a few weeks ago, and 100% of those students passed. So we were very excited about that, considering that was the first time we offered that. So those students can take that certification and go out to the sheriff's office or the Decatur PD, and with their training that they provide, get that next level of certification and have a job. So they're already on that first step. We added another culinary arts certification through our food science program. This year in January, I decided to meet with every one of our CTE teachers. So throughout the middle school and high school, I met with all of those teachers individually for about 45 minutes each, and we talked about what their curriculum was, what their certifications were, what the courses were in that pathway if they weren't the only teacher. I listened to any concerns, what were their needs, and then I really asked them, what are your hopes and dreams for this program? Because I think we get bogged down in the day-to-day. I know you hear that from teachers all the time. And so just to be reminded of our hopes and dreams for what we're doing and the reason we're doing it. So we had some great conversations. I took all that information and I'm going to present some more of that throughout. We had 2 teachers. The Workforce Solutions program offers externships. They work with our businesses in our community to do externships for our teachers. Teachers will get paid I think it was $1,000 they got paid, and they worked 10 hours they're placed in a business that is in their field. And so we had 2 teachers that volunteered to do this in the fall. Mr. Wheeler in our auto tech program worked at the Decatur Tire Shop. And then Miss Mercer, who is our middle school yearbook teacher who does digital media, she worked with the Messenger. So there was another opportunity this spring coming up for the summer, and that'll be 20 hours each, and they get a stipend as well. And so we've sent that out, and I'll be reminding the teachers that they can sign up for that. So it was really, the conversations I got to have with those teachers, they were really blessed to see what the field was actually like and to see what it is that our kids need when they do that. So that was really exciting. We also conducted a middle school CTE career fair that we took students from our CTE programs, each one. They went over and did little presentations in a walk around in the gym and multipurpose so that our 8th graders could sign up for those classes as they, and they tried to present their programs of study so to build interest in those. So we'll be continuing with those educational opportunities. And then this year for our federal funds for Perkins, the Perkins grant, it's a year that we do a comprehensive local needs assessment. So I'm looking at what are the industry needs in our Metroplex area, what programs are working for us, where are our students, what are they doing, and looking at our teacher certifications, all those things, and compiling all of that. So we're really doing an in-depth needs assessment this spring, and that is due in about the second week of May. So that information will be coming up and help us make a plan. We did partnership with the Decatur Economic Development Corporation, and they held Manufacturing Day, which is a nationwide program. We visited Arrow Brigham, Integris, Onyx, Specialty Processing, Omega Research, Cardinal Paint, Industrial Diesel, and then we actually had lunch at Aqualine. The awesome thing about this, Matt just sent an email today, actually. There's a job opportunity. They're looking for a student to work part-time over the summer at Aqualine. So the fact that we can send that out to our kids, those are the kind of relationships we're trying to build. Then Matt and I had a discussion. He had this idea to put together a First Responders Day. And so the exciting thing about that is that no one else in the country does that. He modeled it off of the Manufacturing Day and put together some of our health science students and our law enforcement students. And they went to Medical City Decatur, Decatur Fire Department, Decatur PD, the Sheriff's Office, and EMS. And then we lunched at the Decatur Fire Department. So that was an awesome experience. I just wanted to give you an update on our enrollment. So here is a list of each of the programs of study and the enrollment numbers. If it has an asterisk beside it, that's because we have a class down at the middle school that I included in these numbers. The first 3, animal science, plant science, and ag mech, the principal's class that's at the middle school feeds into all 3 of those. So I did not include that 145 students that are in the principal's class in any of those pathway numbers. Let's see. You can see that our culinary class is the largest, our culinary path is the largest path. Our health science goes right next to it. You can also see that our law enforcement has picked up to 221 students in that law enforcement. That includes a forensic science class at the end. So if they're taking forensic science as their 4th science, they may or may not have participated in the rest of the law enforcement. Then, I did want to point out, I put 2,108 students enrolled in a CTE class, and what that means is that if there's a student who's enrolled in 3 different classes, they counted 3 times. But the fact that it impacts 2,000 places that students are enrolled shows you the cruciality how crucial this program actually is. So I'm just excited to be a part of it. Our industry-based certifications, I put how many certifications we earned last year, because we don't have those numbers. We won't have those till the middle of the summer for this year, but I did want to give you what we earned last year, and then next year we'll be comparing those, because we have added quite a few. So that's exciting. As you know, earlier this year we talked about the budget amount that we had, more than we had anticipated because of some things the audit found for us. And so I just wanted to kind of give you an update on what we're doing with that money. When I talked with the teachers, I've talked with Mr. Nauman and all Ms. Williams and I met, and Mr. Mazinski, and so we've talked about all the things that we can do with that money. And so one of the big categories is repairs. I've been in the district a long time, and I was here when they built the high school. And so to go to the ag mech teacher, speak with her, and realize we've had 2 welders that for the past few years have not worked, that was frustrating for me. And so we're doing things. I just put one example here. One of the repairs that we're making, we're repairing both of those welders so that they have access to more welders. Then supplies, we're purchasing blood pressure cuffs and stethoscopes for the middle school health science class. He didn't ask for much. He's doing a great job down there, but he did ask for those basic things. Curriculum resources, we're expanding. Some have asked for textbooks to go with some workbooks that they have found, or they wanted hands-on lab kits. And so we're exploring and looking at those and purchasing those for them. We are also enhancing some classrooms, and so Medical City donated some commercial culinary equipment, 3 large pieces for us, a warmer, a cooler, and I cannot remember what the last one was, but we have to have some electrical work done in the kitchen to make those fit, so we're going to do that. And then Miss Van, who teaches culinary arts as well, she is in a science lab, and so she doesn't have cooking equipment. She can reserve the kitchen, but chef is in there much of the time. And so she wrote a grant from the Decatur Education Foundation and got toaster ovens and hot plates for her culinary class, except when you plug in more than one on the wall, it blows the breaker. So she could only use 4 at a time. And so that did not work for me. So one of the things, we're investing some of our money into enhancing the electricity up there so she can actually use the materials that she got. And then we are sending our law enforcement teacher and forensic science teacher to a conference this summer for the first time, so that's really exciting. And there are other trainings and conferences we're sending teachers to. With the industry-based certifications, we do have to invest our money into that. However, the state reimburses us 2 tests per student if they pass those tests. And then our federal Perkins grant, this year we used to buy a lift for the auto tech and do the electrical work in there. And then we bought baby simulators for the teaching child development class. So, what are we doing next? Number 1, we're beginning our long-range planning and goal setting to strengthen our programs of study, provide more opportunities for certifications, and we're going to establish student organizations for each career cluster. We are working on a professional development plan for CTE staff, so when we do our at Eagle EdCon this summer, we have some courses we're going to be offering for our CTE teachers specifically. And then our teacher in law enforcement wants to start a career club next year, and so we're talking to her about purchasing uniforms for them, where they might help with parking. They might be doing some service in the community, so we're excited about that. There will be no cosmetology programming next year. We received an email from Weatherford College. They are closing that program to dual credit students, so our students will not have that opportunity their junior or senior year any longer. They will let us finish with the kids that we have, which we only have a couple of students in that program, but they will finish, and then we will not be able to offer it. They will have to wait until they graduate to go do that. So we kind of want to watch that, because that could be an important field for some of our students. Next year, we're merging cybersecurity and programming to save some teacher space. The courses are very similar, and some of them are both in the same path, so they can both receive certifications in either or both fields. And then we are adding an entrepreneurship course to our business administration path. So all of our business students are going to be taking entrepreneurship next year to kind of reset and get a new focus. And then what comes next? Well, we want to build a program of study for construction trades. It is so necessary in this community. HVAC, electrical, plumbing, carpentry, any of those types of trades. We have to look at facilities for that, because we really don't have a space for a construction or HVAC. So it may mean taking our students somewhere else to experience those opportunities. We want to improve our practicum and internship opportunities. So when I met with the teachers, I asked them, what do you do that last course, their senior year? And a lot of them do practicums that stay on campus. We have a few that may go to work at an auto shop, or I know our health science courses go to the hospital and do clinicals. But we're looking to enrich that, because our students don't get a lot of opportunities off the campus. And so we really want to look at providing what they need there. We plan to establish partnerships with our elementary schools. So for example, our science, technology, those kinds of programs will partner with the STEM Academy. Possibly our community service, family service, health science, those may partner with Carson. We're looking at the needs of each campus and the culture of each campus, and kind of partnering there, so that our high school students may go down and teach a lesson or do a presentation or something to that effect, to start that career exploration early. And then they really wanted to meet high school and middle school teachers, so we're going to get those teachers together at the beginning of the year next year, so that they can provide some alignment. So all the courses have that thread running through them. That was my vision, that there's some kind of connection thread, that whatever you do in 8th grade, you build on in 9th grade, you build on in 10th grade, 11th grade, and so forth. So that when we get out, we have this wonderful product of a student that we are providing our community with the workforce. And then I'm working really hard to build business and industry partnerships. I got a lot of connections out there, and so people are wanting to help. They just haven't had the opportunity or know how to help. And so I'm working on strategies and ways to bring people in and offer them opportunities to invest in us. And then we are looking to establish and publicize some student enterprises, so businesses, where they're actually bringing in money. And I can use this one as an example. Ms. Stewart in the floral design department, her practicum classes are actually doing floral designs for events. They actually did one at the Star, and so that was so exciting. But that whoever the person was that had that event paid for the flowers, so the kids are getting to work with flowers that they usually wouldn't, because they may be more expensive flowers even, and then it pays for itself. So she told me she has not had to, when I met with her in January, she had not purchased flowers with budget money since she started. And that was pretty exciting for me, because that shows we're frugally using our resources, but we're working on ways to bring that money back into our system. And then we plan to improve our budgeting processes. We want to make it equitable. So whereas some programs may have had an influx of money over the past few years, you can see that, for example, our culinary program, our law enforcement program, those programs have grown. Are we putting money into those programs to make them as robust as we can? And then one thing that I've seen is we make these large purchases, and just like Mr. Mazak has said before, we need a recycle timeline. So in 5 years, if I'm repairing welder, if we're repairing welders in 5 years, do we need to go back and repair those welders again? We need some kind of cyclical, so that's part of the planning that we'll be doing over the next year. That's all I have. Do you have questions for me?
No, I'd just like to comment on Ms. Boatright. I appreciate everything that you're doing with this, and then all the CTE teachers. For someone who has a profession that benefits directly from this, it's absolutely phenomenal. And I love the fact that Matt was able to have the law enforcement day to bring kids to our department.
It was great.
Secondarily, I have a good department now that I can actually show off, so I want to give kudos to that first. But it's amazing to get these kids in, to have the interactions, to have them as young as they are. I know a couple kids right now that when we were teaching the CTE class that are in an academy. So I'm hopeful that when they get out, they're going to come back to us and looking for a job because they're from here. This is home. And if we're able to provide them opportunities to be successful, I think it is just an absolute fabulous thing. I love the way we're looking now down the road to constantly be adjusting and changing what we're looking at as far as industries that are viable to our students to have success and to make a good living and then be productive members of our community here in Decatur.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And just to piggyback on what is that, also just know you've got a wealth of resources. We got a lot of business experience here in different fields. If there's anything we can do to help to,
Yes.
introduce, make
Oh,
introductions, get, please don't hesitate to ask anyone on the board if you think one of us can, or any of us can help you.
I'm building a bank of resources for each teacher so that if we have a teacher that comes in or a change in teaching, then they don't have to be the one to build those resources. We already have a bank that you can just pick up the phone and call.
Yeah.
And so that those connections, rather than spending a year building those connections again, they can happen instantly, and we can maintain some, a good level for our students. So that's our goal.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate a great presentation.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to move to 12B, which is the gifted and talented update, as you slowly make your way down here. You can run if you want. All right, well, y'all are working on this. That's okay, so take your time. I'm no pressure. I know, Todd. Look, we've all been there, buddy. You're trying to do a presentation. I was going to say, if you don't, I can jump ahead to another item if you need me to. Oh, you got it. Well, there you go.
All right. Hey, I'm Violet Wilson, and I am the Gifted and Talented Coordinator. So this is a review of the K through 5 program. And so the purpose of the program is just for our gifted and talented students to demonstrate their skills in self-directed learning, thinking, research, and communication, developing a product that they can share to express their learning journey. Our mission is providing those challenging and enriching learning opportunities, and the annual review provides the board and the community information about the program and our highlight on the children. So this is a rundown of our numbers. Our enrollment for the K through 5 is right at 201 kiddos, and y'all can see that breakdown for each of the elementary campuses. That does put us in alignment with the state at about the 8% mark overall for our program. So this is a highlight on just some of our policies, practices, and perspectives. And so policies is, of course, clustering those kiddos at the elementary level. We did do an update to our handbook. The state, as always, does rewording and updating. So no major changes, just rewording some of the placement committees versus admin committees. So general meetings the same, just updating the verbiage. And I did want to highlight as well, a thank you out to Ms. Bird and our communications department. They renovated our webpage and kind of presented it in a more streamlined fashion for the breakdown of the recommendation windows and testing windows for the kiddos. So it looks fabulous, thanks to her and our communications department. So practices, our MEET, or main curriculum, is the TPSP, which is the Texas Proficiency Standards Projects, which is outlined by the state. And so that's the core meat of where we get our TEKS and objectives for our kiddos. And then along with that, I kind of put in a 5-year predictable outcome for where we want the kiddos to be, looking at society and projections and really where the kiddos would be effective in the community. So that's kind of outlined here as the pillars of GT, which is our creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, and leadership. So learning the core of what GT is, and then tying in with robotics and Lego. Year 2 is coding, design, and then the Rube Goldberg kind of contraptions, building up that critical thinking, problem solving, and relational skills. Year 3 is financial literacy, investing, entrepreneurship, and then makey-makey, which goes along with coding and being able to do circuitry to connect with and kind of create their own remote control aspect. And then year 4 is the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, emphasizing with other jobs. And so getting them out, experience outside of what they may see here rurally. So digging into some of those different minded jobs and professions that they may not have exposure to. And then also metacognition, future planning, winding up at year 5 where they really go through Road Trip Nation, and it kind of takes the children from their interest level and connects their passion to a profession. And so they can have interactions where they can see interviews and real life people and examples and hone through what the possibilities could be. As far as what colleges their role models and people have attended, so that they can have that real world connection and really place themselves in that position in the future. And then tying in, of course, with our own CTE and the possibilities that we offer in the district. And then perspectives, connecting us through the DEIC so they can give us feedback, community support from teachers, parents, community, and all outreaches. This is just some highlights for our kiddos. These are some fourth grade students that are have chosen bridges as their project from our TPSP. And in this project, they get to evaluate and see the different levels of construction from multiple different styles of bridges. So they get to dig in and see what are the careers, what are the aspects, what are the possibilities, how do bridges affect society, and different professions that align with that. And then it culminates with them actually getting to create and construct a bridge and try that out for themselves. So in the photos, I know they may be a little difficult to see, but they do have different experiments of bridges, and then they're sharing. And super fun, one of the kiddos even created an aerial view and took a picture of how they would have constructed. So super fun for our kiddos. This is a highlight on last year's Earth Day projects. They used AI. One kiddo helped to create some poetry about why Earth Day mattered and what they could do. Another group created a rap, and this side two group created a PSA. We focused last year with an intent on plastics and microplastics and how it impacts the Earth. And so this year we switched over with NASA Climate Kids and did more research on global warming and the impact of carbon. Community connections. We have two big community attachments for GT at our K through 5. We attend the annual trash bash with the TRWD, the Tarrant Regional Water Department, which is this weekend. You're welcome to come. It's a lovely event where we focus on community action and water. Our second grade connection is with water. Their main focus is water development. And so we also partner with our own water plant, which this year we won't be able to attend. They're renovating. So we're doing a water STEM activity at the park. Hopefully we'll be back at the plant next year. So our district unity, to celebrate our GT Awareness Week, we had every campus with a gifted and talented tree where they got to share how they use their gifts and talents to impact the community and help our community grow as a whole. And so we encouraged other kiddos as well, because we are all gifted and talented, and we should be able to use that to give back to our community. Here's a highlight on academic achievement. Our Noetic Math is a national competition where the kiddos compete with noetic thinking. Noetic Math is a different way of thinking, and so not just your standard traditional algorithm or thought process. Even aside from a star analysis where it may have deeper thinking, noetic is backwards thinking or problem solving outside of the box. And so all of the nation is available to compete, and last year we had several of our kiddos be on the national honorable mention, and we should have more kiddos this year as well. A leadership connection that we have, two programs that are not affiliated with Decatur ISD, but they do offer opportunities of enrichment for our kiddos. So we have Leaders in Action, and then there's also the National Math Stars. And so each program, the Math Stars program is funded, and then additionally they have a sliding scale. So there are payment options, but there's also fundraising and different things available for the kiddos so that they can be successful. So program highlights, we are growing, we're on track with the state, we have personalized learning, positive engagement with the kiddos. It's really a good fit for where we're at. And so areas for continued improvement, I'm always looking at PD opportunities, gathering other people that may be able to assist and offer opportunities for our teachers. Also looking at presenting at the EdCon to offer opportunities for enrichment. And then there is a highlighted board training could be possible as well. And so we are covered as exceptional giving the update and including the board, but I would offer, if you would like more training on the gifted program, if you would like more training on the testing or referral process, I do parent meetings. I also do a meeting at the DEIC for the enrollment process, and so the testing referral. So you're welcome if you would like to attend, or if you would like me to present additional informations. It's all available. And so just the elementary GT learners will be exposed to a variety of opportunities and include their predictable outcomes of the 5-year process. All right, so I just wanted to say thank you to y'all for your support and engagement, and offer if there's any questions about the program.
Did I see anything that when and where the trash bash was this weekend, or how the details of that?
Yes, it is. They are online. It's an online
Okay.
Facebook event, and
Okay.
so TRWD offers that out. The way that the trash bash works is that you go on your own with your family, community, friends, and you go pick up the area. And then we meet back at the lakefront for a celebration party. So 8 o'clock in the morning is usually when people head out. And then 10 o'clock is when we have the reception party. And so it's all free. And so there's bounce houses. They usually have the learning mobile van, but I think it's being repaired right now. But they'll have the radio channel out with contests. They'll have face painting. It's a wonderful community experience, just to thank the community for coming out and supporting cleaning the lake and our water resources.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Wilson? Not? Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. Appreciate it. Great information. All right. Darling, you've been patiently pacing back there. I've seen you. You're so ready to get up here and do this presentation. We are finally ready for you. 12C, this is the Shack update.
All right, so here is our Shack update for the year. I'm going to turn it over to Ashley. I'm going to challenge y'all not to scratch your heads as she reads this.
You'll probably all remember this anyways. So my name is Ashley Carter, and I'm the district nurse. So in the fall of 2025, I and Ashley Cowie came and presented the proposed lice policy that the Shack reviewed, and you guys approved it. The policy was developed to align with current health guidelines and best practices for managing the lice in schools. We have been partnering with the Lice Clinics of America to support the families, and families have access to professional treatment services through this. Clinics are able to treat the entire households when needed, and then the district has received free lice treatment kits, so those can be distributed to the families for at-home treatment. It also helps reduce barriers to care and supports quicker return to school.
I am Darlene Thweet, lead high school counselor, and I am very, very excited about Erica's Lighthouse. So this portion has actually been a 3-year process for Shack to review and find a program that meets our community standards to talk about suicide prevention and mental health. And so we reviewed lots of things. It was important to us that we were not relying on our teachers to present this information. And so when I say the first time in 4 years, it's because it's been a 3-year review process for us to find something. And so our high school students will get this presentation the first week of May. So Mr. Stanton and I will be presenting to grade levels each day during Eagle Time, going over this, and I'm very excited and thankful for Shack and the board for approving this resource for us.
Okay, what's next? Okay, so I'm Brooklyn Stapleton, the elementary lead counselor. So all three of us and Dr. Weber attended Texas A&M's AgriLife shack workshop, which I didn't know was a thing, but it is. And so it was awesome because we have had to deal with the triennial wellness plan. Is that what it's called? Yes. And we've had to create a wellness plan this year, and we didn't know what that was. And so we got all the inside scoop during this workshop. And so it really opened our eyes, one, that we're super grateful for all of y'all, because I feel like we have it going on as a SHAC committee, and we're able to come to y'all and get what we need. But then two, it showed us a lot that we could do different, and pulling in like some CTE stuff and changing our meeting times and things like that to really gain some attendance in SHAC. So in doing that, we decided that we were able to look through our local policy and kind of go through a rubric on what it is for our triennial wellness plan. And the last one that we did was 2017. So we will be working on that soon. But it also showed us that we need to create a subcommittee of people like child nutrition, health services, counselors, assistant soup, all of those people that make up that wellness plan to come to do that together. And last, so we, as a SHAC committee, for the last 3 years, have gone over presentation after presentation of just the big highlight and impactful presentations that we have to have as counselors, like suicide prevention, child abuse, sexual assault prevention or awareness, all of those things. And so I feel like we've vetted several great presentations. What we have so far is obviously all of your students will see these presentations. But what we have so far has been free to us. So this company reached out to me, Youth Equipped to Succeed. We had them come present. They do have some great stuff, all the way from like puberty video to healthy relationships and things like that. It's expensive. And so we decided that we are going to put that off to the side for this year and maybe look into it for next year and see if maybe they can help us in some areas. But I do feel like the ones that we do have right now, the three of us have vetted them, and they're great. And we've brought those to y'all, and they've been approved. So that's where we're at with that.
Questions?
Any questions? No. Great update. Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Y'all are doing a great job. Thank y'all. All right, we're going to move on to 12D, which is a staffing update, and that will be presented by Mr. Lackey.
All right, I don't have a fancy presentation. I was too busy in insurance meetings with Gary. But I am going to try to earn my blue placard tonight, Gary. I'm going to work hard on that. So first off, board, thank you for tonight approving our recommendations for staffing for the 26-27 school year. We're really excited about that staff. And my job tonight is to come talk to you a little bit about what we've done with our DISD staff this year, and kind of break it down for you a little bit and pull the curtain back on a few things with staffing, and kind of do that in three ways. I'm going to talk real quick about retention, recruitment, and then the hiring process. So let's first talk retention. Where we are as of today, we have 547 staff members at DISD, and currently, again, as of this moment, we have 26 employees that have resigned for the 26-27 school year. So as that currently stands, that is a 95% retention rate. We're pretty excited about that right now. Now, we understand that as we go throughout April, May, June, and July, we're going to have more. We understand that. But we are really excited about that retention rate. Where we were at this point last year was an 86% retention rate is where we were at this point last year. And what do we attribute that to? Well, a couple of things when we look at look at the data and kind of look at things. And we talk to our teachers, the feedback that we are getting from our staff is the importance that we are putting on staff voice. And what I mean by that is the opportunities that our staff has in the district to express their voice, and they do that through our committees. We have tons of committees, and I'm going to give Ms. Williams a big shout out of bringing these to us and empowering us to create these committees to get our staff on board and to give them opportunities to come into these meetings. And it starts with her of going to campuses and doing listening and learns. And then it starts with us as SLT going to our campus on Mission Monday and being in these classrooms and seeing what's going on and talking to our teachers, and then having committees like our Teacher Technology Committee, our Teacher of the Year Committee, our SHAC Committee, our TIA Planning Committee, our pillar committees that we call them, to where each one of us district leader teams, we lead a committee, and it just gives opportunities for our staff to give us voice and to give us feedback and to say, hey, these are the things that are going well, these are the things that are not going well. And then we can take that feedback and we can improve on things. What happens, I want to step back to on what happens too when we talk about feedback is when an employee resigns. I want to pull the curtain back a little bit. What we do is we give them the opportunity to take a survey. Every employee that resigns gets a survey, and in this survey they give us district feedback, or they give feedback to the district about their time in DISD, and they also have the opportunity to request an exit interview with me if they want one. So every employee that resigns gets that opportunity to have a one-on-one with me or someone else that maybe they want in that meeting. If they request someone else, we try to accommodate that. And we take that feedback, and this was great from a standpoint last year of the feedback that we got from some of our teachers. We were able to improve our onboarding process. And that's something we worked really hard this year to improve our onboarding process and to take that and use that to support our teachers better. One of the other areas I'm going to talk about with retention that I think has been a huge, huge benefit is our partnerships. And one of those partnerships I'm going to brag on is our Decatur Education Foundation. This has been a group that has really supported our teachers, and our teachers have felt that and have given us feedback. And I know a lot of times when we think of DEF, we think about all of the Sonic drinks and the slushes that they give us, and our teachers love those. But what they do is just listen to our teachers, and they give them the opportunity to write grants and to put themselves out there, and then they go, and I got to be a part of this year, they go and present those checks to those teachers. And then those teachers feel like they've been heard, they feel like they've been supported, and then they get to take that money and use it in their craft, and they get to do what it's all about, which is affect the students. So I feel like that partnership has helped us a lot. I also talked about our committees, our Future Ready committee that we have. And then also the one thing that we're working hard on is with retention is to try to grow our own teachers. I'll talk a little bit about that in recruitment. But our Eagle Flight Pathway, and this is something that we're going to hone in a little bit more. We're pretty busy this year. We hadn't gotten to it the way we wanted to, but to provide opportunities for all of our DISD staff to see a pathway if they want to progress, if it's from a para to a teacher, from a teacher to maybe a counselor and admin, from a counselor and admin to maybe a central admin position, and just to kind of give them opportunities to do that. And so that is something we're really going to focus on next year and try to get that pathway going. One way we can do that is through recruitment. That has been a huge thing that we have focused on. And our recruitment is, we started with our partnerships, our strong partnerships that we have with our colleges. And that starts with getting to know those colleges. Obviously, we have some that are near and dear to us, obviously with Weatherford College and the things that we do with them at Decatur High School, but also reaching out to some of our colleges that are close and also colleges that are far. And we've been doing those partnerships through job fairs, through MOUs, through talking through with them about programs that we can put in. And we actually have, we talked about growing our own, we actually have teachers that are coming to us and saying, hey, I'm going to now be, I'm going to be a counselor, and I need to work on my counseling practicum here at Decatur ISD, but I'm with this college, and we need a partnership with them. Perfect. I'm calling them. Hey, let's get a partnership together. What do we need? What do we need to do to get this happening? So I got a couple teachers doing that in the counseling world. I got a couple teachers doing that that are working on their administration, and so we're building those partnerships up. And then we use those partnerships to kind of hit, when I talk about with staffing, something that's going to help us, and that is the lasso Cycle 4 grant, which the state is providing funding for a residency program. That was something that we were really working hard to try to get in place. We had a partnership with Midwestern State University, and we had somebody that was, we had somebody lined up ready to do that, but it didn't work out, but that's okay. We're continuing to work with them and get a plan together, and I've also got a partnership now with North Texas and TCU, and I'm working on one with TWU. And so may not have one for this school year, but for the following year, we plan on having several partnerships that maybe we can get several residencies going. And a residency program is different than student teaching. A residency program is something that, again, the state gives us some funding to. We put a little bit of funding into it, and then we have that teacher for the entire year. And then they get to be a part of the classroom, they get to be a part of the campus culture, they get to be a part of our district, and then with the hopes of hiring them the very next year. So that's kind of where it is with the residency program. We are going to do the Grow Your Own program. That, again, is through the Cycle 4 LASSO grant, and that is where you work with your paras and to get them in educator preparation programs and also get them in colleges. And, again, we can get some funding for this to get them that degree so they then can work on their teacher certification. And then the last part of this that we're excited about is our mentorship program. This is something that we are going to get to work on as a district to basically design this. We're working with Region 11, and Region 11 is going to provide all of the training, which is a big piece. And our teachers we will use as mentors, and then again the state is going to help provide some funding for us to provide stipends for these teachers that are going to mentor our first and second year teachers and develop them and grow them. And we are excited about that. So the last piece I'm going to talk about is the hiring process. Again, I want to pull the curtain back on what this looks like. And our hiring process for us in the staffing, when we talk about staffing in these meetings, it has been very intentional. This is something that we really have started last September, in that we're having specific conversations with our principals every month in our central circles of when they come in and when they go talk to me at the HR table, and then they also with Ms. Williams, we're having specific conversations about their staff, talking to them about what's going on their campuses, and talking about needs, things that they are seeing. We're also bringing in our data of class sizes, and we're evaluating and looking at all of those things. And so these conversations then lead us to basically get to a point to where when we start having resignations, like we're having, like we've had in January, February, and March, then we're able to evaluate those positions, and then we're able to look at those positions, and then we're able to make a decision on those positions of what's needed in the district, and then post those positions. So when we post a position, where we post it, obviously, is on our website. And then we also have several other avenues of a website called Handshake that goes out to different colleges and things like that. And then we also work with our amazing communications team of creating flyers and graphics that some of the campuses will do themselves. And then they share all of these. So we get all of this information out that here's what jobs we have open, and here's where and why we want you to come work at Decatur ISD. So then we get those posted, and then once we get those posted, the hiring process is that basically we again are trying to streamline some of our processes, but the main one that we're doing is to be consistent, and the consistency that we're trying to do is basically set up kind of a criteria of if it's a teacher position, the campus will have a campus committee. And on this campus committee that will be led obviously by the principal of that, they will get a campus committee together, and they will interview the teachers, and then they will make a recommendation to us in HR that this is the person through their interviewing process, this is the person that we want to bring to our campus. So for the teachers, there will be basically a one-round interview. If it is a position that is a counseling or an assistant principal position, then we're going to make that a two-round interview process, to where they, again, campus committee gets to kind of go through all of the resumes and go through all of that and do the interview process, and then they will select 2 to 3, send them with the principal to central admin, and we'll do a second round interview process for that. and then a decision will be made on that. One thing I will highlight is that where we're sitting right now, we have seen with our jobs that we have out there, our applicant pool, we have seen a growth in our application numbers, not only the amount, but also the quality of the applications that we're getting. Now, yes, we still do have some struggle areas and areas we got to recruit highly in, middle school and high school math. Got to get out there and find those. But again, we feel good about that and where we're at with that. So, like I said, once we get to process through the interviewing process, then once a selection is made, we'll have principals check references. And one of the things we're also working on is, when I said streamlining, we're working real hard of getting interview questions that all of our elementaries will be kind of using the same interview questions. So it'll be consistent across the campuses, and also our secondary as well, middle school and high school. Now they can tailor it to their campus a little bit if needed, but we're trying again to be consistent across the campuses and what questions we're asking and specific things we're looking for. And we have reached out to the principals and had them bring their list of questions, and this is something we'll go over and say, hey, these are questions that we like. These are things, are they applicable to our 4 pillars? Let's make sure we're getting the quality candidates here and asking the right questions. So then once a campus makes a selection, then, like I said, a hire sheet will be turned into HR, and then the HR office will offer the job and present it to you, the board, for approval. So that's kind of where we're at. Then once approved by the board, the HR department will begin the paperwork and the onboarding process. And we're going to, again, continue to make tweaks to our onboarding process, but we feel like we did a lot of good things this summer with that, and we're going to continue to do that as well. Things we're going to continue to work on is our new teacher. We're going to still continue to have our new teacher jump starts and our new Eagle Academy as we get ready for those things. Again, we feel, like you said, Stan, at the very beginning of this whole thing, Decatur ISD is a great place, and we have tremendous staff, and we have tremendous students, and we want to continue to support them both and give them an environment and give them an opportunity to succeed and for us to continue to spread our wings and fly. So that's where we're at with staffing. Any questions?
I was just going to ask you real quick.
Yes, sir.
Forgive me if I should know this probably. Is the LASSO 4 grant, has that actually been approved, or is that, it's already been approved?
It is, yeah, we got approved for it.
Yeah.
My part is a little different than some of the other parts that the district applied for. Mine is an allotment.
Okay.
So it's just an allotment. I'll go in now that we start, as we go through this process of figuring out, okay, how many mentor teachers do we need? Or like I said, now that we don't have a resident for this year, but maybe we'll get one next year, now that those things are coming into place, I can go in and adjust those numbers, and we won't ask for as much as we originally asked for or things like that. So mine's a little bit different than some of the other parts that got the LASSO grant.
Okay. In one comment, I was just going to say, I think one of the best things you guys have done this year was the onboarding process and how that got completely ramped up and changed, and the Eagle Academy and all that. I've heard lots from new teachers who are saying, wow, this was great, and that we haven't, in other districts they might have been in, they did not really see it, at least to that level anyway. So kudos to you for that. Thanks.
Team effort.
All right. Any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Lackey, very good presentation. I liked hearing step by step, but it did raise one question for me.
What you got?
Speak up.
No, I said, what you got?
Oh.
No, what you got?
That you could hear me.
No, I got you.
I haven't had that one before. So when you start talking about advertising,
Yes,
that's
sir.
our first piece. So we go from advertising all the way through the hire sheet that gets turned into you. What does it cost? What is that person, that one potential employee?
I haven't done the research on that. I know Ms. Williams
Yeah.
that's kind of her wheelhouse on that.
I mean,
she can save me on this
that
one.
would be a range because, it depends on what position we're talking about. Principal's time obviously accounts for something in the summer. If they're spending an entire day, that's their daily rate spent on interviews. And so, a couple $1,000s at a minimum, I would say, if you're looking at admin pay, time that you're bringing teachers in to sit on committees, their time's worth something too, especially in the summer when they're not on the clock. So I don't think there's a hard number I can give you, but yes, any teacher turnover costs the district money. It costs money to replace people.
That's where I, with that amount of money, and I personally, I think it's probably a little bit higher. I bet it's between 3 and 5 would be my guess. Our retention numbers look great, and that's only saving us money by having great retention. Good job.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Lackey, unless somebody else had anything. Okay, great, appreciate it, all your hard work. All right, we're going to go 12E, communications and our bond update with Ms. Byrd. See, look how easy that is, Todd.
Mr. English has been busy with all of our presentations. So anywho, thank you to the board as always. I'm always grateful to be able to present to you guys. Y'all know I get way too excited and nerdy about communications. And so this time last year, we talked more generally about communications to the district. Now I get to speak to you about a very specific campaign that we're working on for our bond, if you haven't heard. And early voting did start today, so just, there's my shameless plug. I might have another one later, but that's at least one. I really want to look at this from the lens of two things that we've really tried to do through our bond communication efforts is one, to be informative and engaging, and then two, to be open, transparent, and inclusive to our community. And so before I go too far, I do want to show the team. And so this is definitely a campaign this large. You really cannot do it by yourself. You have to have individual support. Corrigan on my right has been very instrumental. They have a team of 3 communicators who have been doing a large chunk of work, and I've been putting them to work, and they have done a phenomenal job, and they've been very patient with me in particular. You see myself, and then you see Janet Monreal. She's my assistant. She hasn't done quite as much with this, but she has done some things that have really been instrumental in getting materials out to the campuses, and she's also taken on some things that normally I might do myself, and she's taken on that, and that has really freed up some time, and so always kudos to her. And then lastly, you see a little bitty photo of the district admin team, and really I don't think that there is a single department that has not touched bond communications, this informational campaign in some way, from custodial to campus secretaries, teachers. I mean, there are so many people who have been involved, and so this really is a team effort to communicate, to provide information to families. Okay, starting off, informative and engaging. And so I thought it'd be helpful for us if we just took a quick look at what we did in previous bonds. I'm not going to read you all for this, and I did not go through every single bond campaign specifically, but I just wanted to provide a quick overview. And you can see that it was a strong campaign. It had some very basic elements that any campaign needs: a website, community presentations, flyers, social media campaigns. And so you can see that there were a lot of things that were done in the past that we wanted to look at, and I think I believe Corrigan was also instrumental in assisting in that. When we start talking about things like engagement, you can start to see the numbers, and the numbers aren't necessary. They can tell different stories. Seeing a low number is not always it's not always an indicator. Sometimes what it can be is it can show that people have chosen to opt out of the process, and that is a decision, right? That's a decision that they're able to make and they have the right to make. And we're not looking specifically at how people said what they said particularly, really just looking at those engagement numbers. And so that was just something that I looked at as well, and I know Corrigan took a peek at as well. So moving forward, as we got into this year's campaign, we always, me being me, I'm very frugal, I wanted to start with what can we do that's free? And so by free, I mean our labor, but that we're okay with that. And so we started with the bond website, and that was largely Corrigan building that with Mrs. Williams, and then myself helping to just kind of proofread and make sure that everything was accurate and informative and fact-based. A lot of email engagement, reminders on the district website. Even though it's still pointing people to the bond website, we do recognize, and we saw that from survey data, that a lot of people are going to our website for information. And so ensuring that they know, even if they don't remember, DecaturISDbond.com bond.com, they know our website and they know how to get to the bond website from there. Social media, and then other little things that we try to do with many of our campaigns. And so the Wise County Messenger, we usually don't control their content, but they have a daily update you can submit things to for free. The city of Decatur has a Friday update, and we've been grateful to partner with the city in getting information out through a fairly large audience over there. Staff and community presentations, and then just general word of mouth marketing. I will always say that is the best way to inform people and to provide information, is just the people we know, the people in our circle, our sphere of influence. Moving on, not all campaigns are free, and sometimes you do have to spend money essentially to get the word out. If we think about our own particular lives and people in our own circle, we all have those people that say if a holiday is coming around, they're gonna do their shopping. You don't have to remind them everything's gonna be together. And then there's some people who need a little reminders just to know where to go, what store to go, where to get things, how to figure out what to buy stuff. And so we did something similar with this campaign, is really just ensuring that people have the information they need to make a decision that's fact-based, whatever way they decide. Like Mrs. Williams says, we will never tell people how to vote, but we will encourage them to vote. And so that's really what we did. And again, I'm not going to read this here, but we have had a lot of things, and really took what was done in previous bonds and just upped it a notch. And so adding some things like more exterior signage on the campuses, more mini bond flyers, just different types. And the reason you want to do that is because everyone absorbs information differently. Some people want all the details, and for those people, we have a website, we have a bond magazine, right? Other people, they just want quick snippets, and so we tried to provide really a variety depending on that person, so they can pick and choose what works for them as they're learning about this bond election. At the very bottom, you see we did want to focus on anything that was lower cost, and so we worked a lot with iCopy to say, is there a lower quality paper that we can use that's still not going to look like, I printed it on my my copy machine at home, but essentially still giving quality materials and saving the district money. I think that we did really well there. And then also looking at reusable items. There were some things that we bought that were just pricier than I personally wanted, but I know we'll be able to use them. And so, for example, you see the A-frames outside, the H-frames. Those are something we can leave on campuses, and then all you have to do is replace the inserts. And the inserts themselves, those can be a few $100s if you buy the metal ones. I worked with our vendor to say, hey, we're going to take our chance on the ones that are $40. Right? And so saving the district a lot of money. So looking at a lot of those different opportunities. The other thing that we wanted to do is really be open and transparent and inclusive. That is what our community is demanding. That's what they're asking for. That's what they wanted. We see that consistently show up in survey data, but just also anecdotal data. When you just speak to people, they want that peek behind the curtain. They want to know what's happening. They want to be able to have information. And it really just shows the larger shift that has happened in the communications world. It used to be, if you were a brand, you could just have your one thing and you could communicate that and people would just kind of go with the flow. People are getting information in all sorts of streams and all sorts of ways, and so we want to be respectful of that, and we want to provide those opportunities for individuals to learn. And so you can see we had a lot of things happening. We've had bond chats, we've had tours at McCarroll Middle School. That was obviously the hot topic item. I don't know if I said that right, but we'll just keep on moving as if I did. Bond presentations for staff, for community members. We even had a community leader luncheon doing the standard chamber, Rotary, Lions Club, and we actually have Lions Club coming up in a few days. We had a community block party in Loteria. And then lastly, we do have tomorrow, this is my other shameless plug, we do have our final public opportunity for the community to learn about the bond. This is Tuesday at McCarroll. We will be there with Mrs. Williams, Mrs. Alvarez is going to help provide some translation support as well at the MPB. Just a final chance if someone has not engaged, and that's okay, right? Sometimes life is happening, right? They've got kids, they've got responsibilities, they've got work, and they just may have not been able to really plug in. This gives them one final opportunity to actually hear and see a bond presentation, learn more in English and in Spanish, and then make a decision from there. And then also, Mrs. Williams has been really good pretty much everywhere that we've gone. I've seen her say, if you want me to come to your group and present, she's been really good at making that clear. And so I'm just happy to allow the community opportunities to engage, to learn more, and to be informed. And then the other thing we did is we really tried to make sure that this whole process was community informed, and that really started with Mrs. Williams, really just starting with an open invite to serve on the bond planning committee, and you all know that, but also providing, periodic updates from the committee. The Spanish language translations, I really want to highlight that just for a little bit of a second. That's something that came out of a committee that we started back May of last year. And it was something that was communications based, and I got together with a few teachers who had an interest and really wanted to see what can we do to better support families whose native language may not be English. And we all know that phrase, lost in translation. There's some reality to it. Sometimes if you've ever tried to learn another language, when you translate some things, they just don't translate well. And so when it comes to learning about something and getting fact-based information, sometimes it's just helpful to have it in your native language. And that really was a heavy lift for us. And when I say a lot of people have helped, from Dr. Weber to her assistant Allie to Janet Monreal to people on the campuses, teachers, like so many people have helped us with those translations, proofreading and making sure that that they were good, and then Corrigan as well, and then accurate, and getting that reviewed and approved and all the things. It really was a heavy lift. It really was a labor of love, but I'm happy that we did it because it allows everyone to have more information in pretty much everything we did, not 100%, but almost everything that we did for the bond was available in English and Spanish. We had a few exceptions, but for the most part, we really tried to be mindful of that. And then again, just more touch points, more ways to engage, more ways to learn, FAQs, contact us, all the things. And then lastly, just a couple of quick things. We've been keeping an eye on the metrics. Every QR code, we attach a bit.ly link to it. That is a very low, it's a free way basically to measure your engagement. We weren't expecting big numbers on the QR codes, and you don't get them. A lot of what we are doing are they're creating passive impressions, and so people are seeing it and they're absorbing it, but we're not necessarily asking them to do anything right away. We're just, especially in the early stages of that campaign, we're really just providing them information, keeping it top of mind so that they don't forget. And so that has been, I think, very beneficial to us. The website traffic, we've seen that, and you can expect that we've seen an increase in the last month. Our sources, you've got that listed as there as well. The survey data, just a lot of opportunities for people to engage, and I think you're seeing that in the data that we have. And that is it for me. Any questions?
You've been busy.
I have, I've used Kiehl's eye cream to keep the eye bags under control.
Ms. Bird, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you and your team and everyone, and kudos to our district for having all this information and for having it in Spanish. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Bird. All right, we're getting there, guys. Okay, 12F, Senate Bill 546 on a 3-point school bus seatbelt update. And this one may open a few eyes if you haven't seen the numbers. Close. You're close. You're almost. I think I'm the caboose.
Oh, right. Red means stop. Okay, here we go. Senate Bill 546 requires us to present this information to the board in an open session for your information so that we can come up with a plan through you and then through Ms. Williams, and then we'll implement that plan that you decide. And so what it is that the Senate bill said that every school district in Texas must have 3-point seat belts on their transportation buses, and I believe it applies to charter schools and other schools that deal with TEA and all of that. So here's a breakthrough. We have to present this information, give it to TEA through the Sentinel compliance reporting feature, and then They are going to take all those numbers and see how many school districts have the money, don't have the money, and then they're going to give grants according to what comes in on that side. So here's the overview of what we have. Buses with 3-point seat belts right now that were compliant. We have 6 buses, 2 2017s and 4 2026s, which is our new buses. Buses with lap belts only, which are not compliant. We have 4 14 bench seats. These buses have partial compliance but don't meet the new Senate bill rules. Estimated for those buses is around $22,000 a bus. Buses with no seat belts, the majority of our fleet falls into this category. 2011, 2014, we have 26 bench seats. 2016 buses, we have older 2006 buses. Estimated retrofit for these buses is around $40,000 a bus. We're getting into about a third of a bus there. Some of these buses are only worth $20,000, and that's a lot. It comes to about $1.2 million is what we will need done by September 1st, 2029. So we do have some time to get this going, whether we do it in-house or whether we take the grants. Keep in mind that if we do take the grants, if they become available, that those buses will need to stay in the fleet for 5 years, or else we'd probably have to pay the grant back. So there is a catch to the grant. Seeing that most of our buses are 2017, it's going to be a challenge to keep those buses going another 5 years. If the bond does pass, it will greatly help this number, shrink it down. If it doesn't, we are still liable to make sure that we have compliant by 2029, September 1st. All right, any questions? Good news, right? I always come up with good news. Yeah.
No, it's something everybody needs to know about, so.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. Thanks for your patience. Okay, moving on to 12G. This is the announcement of board training hours. I've got a long script I'm required to read. I will try to get through it as fast as possible, so forgive me if I sound like a speed reader, but under the State Board of Education rule, completing required continuing education each year of service is a basic obligation and expectation of any sitting board member. As board president, I'm required to announce the name of each member who has completed the required continuing education, has exceeded the required continuing education, and is deficient in meeting the required continuing education. Texas Association of Schools, I don't need to read that. Okay, the requirements for training are measured as of the first anniversary of the date of the trustee's election or appointment, or 2-year anniversary of his or her previous training as applicable. There are 8 training areas for board member continuing education. Number 1, local district orientation. Number 2, orientation to the Texas Education Code. Number 3, post-legislative update to the Texas Education Code. 4, team building. 5, additional continuing education. 6, evaluating student academic performance and setting goals. 7, identifying and reporting abuse, trafficking, and other maltreatment of children. And 8, school safety. To the extent applicable to each board member, I will announce the completion or deficiency as to required training. Stan Schultz has exceeded the required continuing education requirements. Matt Joyner has exceeded the required continuing education requirements. Sandra Snyder has exceeded the required continuing education requirements. Nate Bayless has exceeded the required continuing education requirements. Delvin Campbell has exceeded the required continuing education requirements. Jeremy Duncan has exceeded the required continuing education requirements. And Cynthia Alvarez has exceeded the required continuing education requirements. So all the board members are in good standing as far as training is board training is concerned. Whew. Okay. Last is Mr. Mazinski. I think you're back up for our financial information. Or someone is.
I don't have a lot to say. It's late. I'll just say it's that time of year when this administration is not that overspending. The current overspending, someone puts in $20 for things, $2 for shipping is added
Does anybody have any questions for? Would you mind, yeah. Just a quick statement, Gary. I know your voice is probably gone like ours is.
No, I just didn't want to keep you guys any longer than we had, but that's all right. One other thing that I was talking about it is when I go through the line items and look, and like if someone needs to move some for one thing or other, they're all real smooth. There's not a lot of very little over expending. The budget looks, the line items look really good at this point. And I do know that Ms. Williams, because I can go back a year ago and there were lots of little negatives and stuff, and the district's made a really good change of, if we need to if there's not enough, we require the people to go in and find a line item that there's extra and then move it to there, and then if it crosses function, we bring it to you as a budget amendment. So, is that okay? Thank you, Stan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Gary.
Much better, thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. Appreciate everybody's patience. I know this was a long board meeting. There was a lot of information to be distributed tonight, so I do appreciate those of y'all that stuck around till the end. All right. It is 8:27. We are adjourned.